why knowledge is important, because knowing provides access to sources of information that often relate to how we acquire the goods and necessities, and also learn about what we need to be able to survive and live meaningful lives and existences. Not just lives, but existences that matter, and existences that require us to sustain the self in various ways through knowledge, preliminarily knowledge, and preliminarily truth, and what regards what's really true, and what's really known, and what's really truly known. Not just what's known, because sometimes we can think we know, but we don't actually know. Because everything is really governed by perception. And so when we see things, because we're an innate psychological being with a psychological mind that at its fundaments is perceptual and based in consciousness perceptions. And there's these appearances in which can serve as very useful tools for both the imagination and the intellect through our imaginative consciousness, but at the same time, it can also be the sources of appearances and can deceive us in terms of what's actually true and really the case, and as a matter of fact. So when we start to recognize the importance of knowledge, this creates a demand and a necessitating quality of a hunger and an appetite for truth and knowledge that relates more to understanding the proportionate aspects of objective truth that is ubiquitous across all types of truths, and which establishes a solid, concrete, universal set of truths for all truths, and certain principles that tend to bound truths, with the exception of psychological truth, which is a little bit different, but is still objectively true and is grounded within objective truth ultimately and fundamentally. There's no escaping that. Even subjective experience, so all subjective truths, are inherently psychological and pertain to psychological truths, which are objective truths, and involve these direct realisms. That is where we can understand the domain of subjective truth and its applicability to our lives in allowing us to live more meaningful and purposing our existences through these imaginative, speculatively true meanings and knowledge that's direct to sourcing what we actually need, and the goods and the necessities, as well as the food and information on rest and relaxation, and what our bodies need and our minds need, such as knowledge and true knowledge, what's actually true and really true, not just perceived as actually true or really true, but actually true and really true. And not just perceived as true, because this is a form of self-deception, and it can also be a form of error or a mistake that leads us astray into trajectories that might sometimes thwart our access to goods or necessities and what we ultimately need to energize ourselves and maintain a healthy psychological state of mind and experience these higher qualia of experiences that are direct to our preceptors and our self-precepts. So that's all I wanted to say for now. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.